Well, guys, I watched it. A lot of people warned me not to, but I watched it anyway. All right, so I watched the Ferrari movie, and I have a lot to say about it. How does this movie do as a car movie? How does it do against other movies recently, like Ford versus Ferrari, and even Gran Turismo? This Fast and Furious is just so far away in some galaxy that wasn't so long ago, and it's just a mess. So we're not even gonna count the Fast movies anymore right now anyway, because they're bringing it back to the roots of street racing. Watch it be time travel. Watch it be time travel. Today's sponsor is DealDash.com. I know a lot of you are probably already bidding on DealDash, but for those of you that don't know, DealDash is an auction website that people seem to love or hate. And if you've seen any of their annoying ads on TV the past 15 years, you'll know that they have thousands of auctions every day with brand new items. Or people have won auctions like an iPad for $13.24 or an Xbox for 45 bucks. So what's the catch? Well, you gotta pay up front to bid. So for instance here, after you sign up, they'll ask you to buy 400 bids for 30 bucks, which means you can bid 400 times in any of their auctions. Now every auction starts at $0 with no reserve price. And every time you bid, you can at most raise the price by a penny. And after you bid, the timer counts down by 10 seconds. And if no one bids in the next 10 seconds, you won the auction. And they have all sorts of crazy things, like this brand new Jeep that somebody won for $1,875 and a Nintendo Switch for $22. Here's a beautiful watch where the buy it now price is $1,500, but right now it's at $2.84. So I'll place one bid. Let's see what happens. Now I'm winning the bid. And okay, somebody outbidded me. Now is Deal Dash for everybody? No. Some auctions can take hours or even days on end, so you don't need to invest time in bidding. Also, they don't ship internationally, so if you're not in the USA or Canada, it's just not going to work. But if you like bidding on auctions, you have time on your hands to really figure out how it works, you can get some pretty sweet deals. So make sure to check out DealDash.com when you sign up my promo code ThatDudeinBlue, and you get 100 extra free bids on that first BidBat purchase. And if you don't win an auction using these bids, or don't like it for any reason, you can contact DealDash.com and get all your money back on your first bid purchase. No questions asked. So do me a favor, go to DealDash.com/ThatDudeinBlue. So the Ferrari movie focuses on basically two things. So Kylo Ren Adam Driver is now on a really bad green screen effect at the very beginning of the movie where they tried to make it old and timey. It doesn't look great, I'll be honest. And this is a very important detail, I think, to this movie, because I'm just gonna say it right off the bat, this movie cost more to make than Ford versus Ferrari. And what I'm about to tell you and show you, you're gonna be like, nuh-uh, no, there's no way. The movie starts in 1957. We all know that Ferrari hated selling cars because he just wanted to go racing, so he'd have to sell cars to fund his race team, which explains a lot about their business practices. Adam Driver is a phenomenal actor, but it still kind of feels like he's still recovering from The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, that movie is hot garbage, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Adam Driver is so good that those movies I don't think are gonna ruin his legacy or anything. This is probably the only car movie ever to show somebody dramatically intercut shifting 3 on the tree, like the clutch in and then the pull this way. Like 3 on the tree sucks to drive. And it's funny how they tried to make it all edgy and cool of him like slamming the gear back towards him. So that's a new thing. That's a new thing I've never seen before. But Enzo's lookalike in Ford versus Ferrari is way more accurate to the real life person. And his attitude kind of feels more like how you envisioned Enzo. I never met the guy, but I've seen lots of footage of him. And that was much more of like an Enzo feeling to me. So it basically shows that Ferrari's home life is in complete shambles. Him and his wife are not doing good. And his wife pulls out a demonetization device and pulls the trigger right near his head. And I go, wait, what? There's no way that really happened. So I'm gonna look that up. The whole movie focuses more on his home life than a lot of the racing, at least in most of the movie. So it talks about him and his wife and how he has an affair and has a son behind his wife's back with somebody else. And then he lost his first son to a disease. It's just not a good time. Like, a lot of the movie is pretty depressing. So to set the stage, they just got their track record beaten by Maserati, and they're all eager to break the record again. And he has to go to church. Some people are at the track, and they're all pulling out their stopwatches, somehow knowing what's going on at the track with no phone call or anything. Like, they pull it out to like make this dramatic scene of them like clicking the stopwatch as the car goes around the track, and it's like, but they're not there. So how do they know? Oh, well, David, they actually have a memo that's gonna start exactly at this time. Well, how do they know when to stop it if they're not at the track? Then a driver shows up for a job. Enzo doesn't want him until, well, he loses his star driver. And this is where the movie completely took me out of the experience. Like, already. I know this is supposed to be a serious moment, but this is a really fake looking crash. Enzo and them are at the track, and it is the worst car crash scene in a modern film I have seen in forever. It feels so cheap, and it's hysterical. I started laughing. That's not good for a dramatic scene. They shoot it in a weird way to where he comes in, the car malfunctions, no surprise there, and he hits a curb. But the way they shot it was where it looked like he slowed down just enough to kind of like just go off. But then the car, instead of just going off and the guy crashing and unfortunately passing away, he goes straight up. The guy literally goes straight into the sky. It also showed that Ferrari had the ability to twist narratives and show the influence he had over his city and over Italy, because he could say, oh, well, this happened, this didn't happen, and people would go with it. This also talks about how Ferrari was starting to look for a partner for extra funding because they were basically going to go bankrupt. Also, another thing that really bugged me was, listen, either commit to an accent or don't commit to an accent. It's okay if a bunch of American people are speaking English, right? And they're just trying to get the point across of the story. Like, we don't need fake Italian accents to get the point across. And, you know, there's like little jabs at Ferrari's design philosophy. Like, for example, they're at dinner and somebody says, why don't we go mid-engine? It seems like it's more efficient for racing. And he goes, no, the ox must pull the carriage. There is a great scene where he's doing a blueprint of an engine and an intake manifold, and he's describing how an engine works and what makes airflow better, which honestly is one of the best depictions of somebody explaining combustion engines in a movie I've seen in a long time. It's very simple. Which is really interesting is the further down the road we get in this movie, the more Ford versus Ferrari feels like a more expensive movie when it's actually cheaper. This movie was made for $110 million. The movie also has some very weird editing choices and very weird shot choices. Like, things will like linger on a little too long. Most editing rules, you need things to just be very fluid with the audience. And especially with that first crash scene, it kind of broke that perspective, right? Of something coming towards you, and then it would kind of flip, and then it would go straight into the sky. Same thing. But then the rest of the movie is all about this endurance race throughout Italy. This race was extraordinarily dangerous. Lots of people were taken out by this race. And then unfortunately, at the end of this endurance race, Ferrari had one of the worst crashes pretty much of all time when it comes to endurance racing. One of their drivers hit a reflector on the road or something along those lines, and it popped his tire, and he rolled into a crowd. And this dude had an awful, awful fate. Okay, I don't know about this either. Okay, he flips and then he goes really high up. And dummies. This crash was definitely done better than the other ones, but it still looks a little cheap. Honestly, they would have been better off having these moments where the driver panics, they show that something malfunctioning or something popping, and then literally cutting away or cutting to black. Like, we would get the picture. We just have to see the aftermath. After that, it would get the point across. Then you don't have to make a cheap CGI crash scene. Just saying. The crash scenes should have been completely redone. The effects look terrible. The racing scenes are overall pretty good. That's positive reviews, but I don't think I'll ever watch it again. So, Ferrari, have you seen it? Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. And I appreciate you stopping by for this quick little movie review video. I appreciate you guys. And on that note, thank you guys for stopping by once again, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.